Hello and welcome to autoX. My name is Karan Mathur and this is the new Royal Enfield Bear 650. Now, we were supposed to be at the Big Bear Lake and honestly, look at me. I bought new off-road gear to fit. However, what we got instead was a beautiful ride up Palm Springs with flowing corners, open highways, but not much of off-road riding. But this is supposed to be a scrambler. It's supposed to go off-road. It's supposed to do on-road and off-road in equal measure. So in this video, what I'm going to do is find out whether I'm overdressed or is the bike. So before we get into the design, the ride, the handling, let me first tell you a little bit about its history. Now, the reason this motorcycle exists is because of an individual named Eddie Mulder. He won the Big Bear run in 1960 at the age of 16. It was a grueling event where his bike was falling apart halfway through. 750 riders is what he had to beat to come out first in that event. Now, owing homage to that run and to Eddie Mulder, Royal Enfield has dedicated an all-new motorcycle by the name of Bear 650. It is a scrambler and true to tradition, it is based on a British motorcycle with a parallel twin engine. So with that out of the way, let's get straight to the design. This is a scrambler motorcycle and I think it does a really good job at being so. It does imitate the Royal Enfield Interceptor's silhouette to a large extent, but it has its own unique character. Now, Royal Enfield tells us that a lot of the motorcycle is new. Of course, the engine, the main frame, the tank and parts of the braking system is what it shares with the Interceptor, but the rest of it is new. Now, let me start up front. Now, you do get upside down forks rather than the conventional forks which you get in the Interceptor. And this, the Golden Shadow Edition, well, this gets golden USD forks. Up front, you get 19-inch tubed spokes, and at the back, you get 17-inch wheels. Now, another highlight definitely has to be this 2-in-1 exhaust. Now, this has allowed Royal Enfield to also increase the power of this motorcycle, which we'll come to a bit later. Then, of course, you get the traditional teardrop-shaped tank. You do get a color TFT screen. You get LED lighting all around. You get this large dual seat, and you may be asking yourself, what are the changes to the Bear 650 or the Interceptor to really call it a scrambler? Well, first and foremost, I did talk about the USD forks. Now, overall, the frame has been strengthened and that does give it a bit more rigidity than the Interceptor. With that, the rake angle has been opened up. This gets a 26-degree rake angle as compared to the 24-degree which you get with Interceptor. Again, I'll talk about that when we come to our ride and handling bit. Then what else do we have to talk about? Well, LED lighting. I think the short bottle exhaust really looks good, and overall I think it is a good mix of all the things that we like about Royal Enfield into one really unique off-road package. Overall, the design is something I really like, but the ride and handling is something which impressed me even more. So let's talk about that.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah.
So now we come to the engine. Well, this is the 648cc parallel twin motor, which makes 47 bhp and 56.5 Newton meters of peak torque. The biggest talking point over the Interceptor is that this has been tuned specifically for the Bear 650 in order to give you a bit more oomph with the low and mid-end punch. It definitely gets off the line really quickly. However, the mid RPM throttle roll-ons do get a bit jerky, and that can get a bit worrisome for off-road riding. Out on the road, when you want to overtake a car, when you just want a bit power, that's what it delivers in spades. Of course, continuing with the change that it has to bring over the Interceptor, well, this has 8% more torque, and what Royal Enfield says that torque has been spread across the rev range. It's not become peaky, but the whole torque curve has been moved up just a bit. And of course, then I spoke about the wheels. Well, these are 100 by 80, 19 section at front, 140, 80, 17s at the back. The tires have increased. The gear ratios or the final drive ratio, of course, has been changed in order to suit that change. Now, what Royal Enfield says is that they haven't made it quite a bit different to the Interceptor. So in terms of how it rides, how it pulls, it will be a bit like the Interceptor. It does pull cleanly. The mid-end punch is pretty strong. However, after the 5 to 6,000 RPM mark, it does tend to taper off. Now, the tires which you get with the Bear 650 are MRF Nylorex. Now, what Royal Enfield says is that these have been developed specifically for this motorcycle, and I think they do a pretty good job when it comes to specifically on-road riding. They give you the grip. Overall, they have the feel to help you push further and further as your confidence builds. However, one thing I did feel was that the suspension was just a bit too stiff to help the tires get the grip which it needs off-road. I felt the front kind of starts washing out if you start pushing it off-road. Overall, of course, you can do the gravel and rough road bits. It won't have any problem there. But once you start pushing it, that's when it starts to kind of give up on you. I feel this is more of an on-road motorcycle than a complete off-road motorcycle. And when it comes to the ride and handling, that kind of proves that point. It is absolute gem to handle in the twisty sections or out on the highways. It's precise, it's direct, it gives you the feedback which you need. Because of the longer wheelbase, of course, it feels more stable out on the highways. And when you get into the canyons, of course, you feel that the longer length will probably be a hindrance, but the handlebar has been moved forward and a bit taller. Even the seat height for the rider has been moved up. So overall, you sit on top of the motorcycle rather than in the motorcycle as compared to the Interceptor, and that does give you a bit more control. Yes, you have the vibrations omnipresent which were there with the Interceptor, but they're more of a buzzy feeling through the handlebar and through the foot pegs. So overall, that definitely shouldn't be a hindrance to your riding. When we were riding it out in the canyons, no matter how much I tried to upset this motorcycle's balance, it tracked straight through. It was never a point where things got hairy or I felt the bike was not in my control. It just felt really good. Of course, the flip side to that is that this has become stiff. The chassis has been strengthened and that does give it a little more rigidity. Even the forks stiffen up the suspension up front, even at the back. Overall, it is a bit of a stiff motorcycle, but when you're out on the highway or on the road, you don't really feel it. But when you're off-road or you have really bad sections of the road, that's when it comes into play. All right, let me talk about ergonomics real quick. Now, do keep in mind I'm 5'6", and when I do sit in the motorcycle, it is kind of hard to reach the ground completely. I'm not flat footing, but when I do put one of my foot up, I can flat foot with the other one. However, the bars are high up, they fall easily to my hands, they're wide apart, which will give you the leverage to start pushing this motorcycle even more. And when you get to the off-road sections, when you have to stand up, I think that the standing position which this bike has to offer is amazing. I can really hold on to the tank with my thighs. The handlebar falls easily to my hands. And yes, there is weight to contend with when you're going off-road, but this bike allows you to balance the motorcycle and hold it and control it quite easily. So there's no problem over there. Now, if you have to take out this motorcycle for longer rides, what Royal Enfield has done is strengthen the rear subframe, and that will allow you to carry a little more luggage, and even with a pillion, it shouldn't upset the balance all that much. So, if I have to sum up everything that I have to say, I think this is a really good motorcycle, but not for the purpose that you're probably thinking. It is a better version, a better handling version of the Interceptor. Yes, it will be an amazing bike, whether it be for the cities, for the weekend rides, but don't mistake it for an out-and-out off-roader. What you will buy this motorcycle is probably for more power, the looks, the heritage, and overall the uniqueness that it brings over the rest of the 650 lineup. So I think I really enjoyed the day I had to spend with it. We were in Palm Springs, the roads were amazing, so that all played in its favor. The off-roady bits, well, I'm on the fence a bit about that. Maybe that had to do with the tires and the tire pressure which this bike had, but I don't think that should be its purpose. The Royal Enfield Himalayan is still the ultimate off-road motorcycle in their lineup. This is more of a dual sport variant of the Interceptor 650 if you have to ask me. What do you guys think of the Royal Enfield Bear 650? In fact, tell me which color option or variant did you like the most? Tell me in the comment section down below. My name is Karan Mathur. I thank you guys for watching and I'll catch you guys real soon.